Welcome back to Radio Free Radford. Here you are watching a Zoom edition of our interview here, as you can probably see there. We're going to be speaking with graduating senior Sam Finley, who is involved with a couple of organizations on campus. And you see him, he's waving his hand up there in the camera. And we're glad to be speaking with him from home. Sam, welcome. I know the last time we face-to-face met was we were both on a trip in New Orleans for spring break, and then bam, we had to resort to this thing. How are things
Yep.
been for you working from home and finishing up your school year?
So far, they've been good. Definitely, with everything having to switch online, senioritis hits you pretty hard because you're just not quite like ready for this kind of work at the end of the semester. So,
Right.
yeah.
Well, hopefully you can make do, and best to you as you have another, well, tomorrow or Friday is the last day, but then of course you have next week with your finals, and you'll be back in
Yep.
December for commencement. So you're technically done, but we'll be seeing you later on at the end of the year, hopefully, and get back to some scene of normalcy. We'll be talking about your experiences with student government in the Baptist Collegiate Ministry. We'll go ahead and do the Student Government Association. Of course, we had you on back in the fall, and you were giving a brief discussion about it. So talk about your position with SGA and which college you represent.
Okay. So I am one of the college senators, which essentially their SGA is made up of a cabinet staff and the Senate side. The Senate side mostly focuses on legislation representing individual colleges of students and kind of like determining what their interests are and advocating on behalf of them. Um, and my position is for the Davis College of Business and Economics up at Kyle Hall.
All
So
righty,
that's
cool. So what have you learned from being in this position?
I think what I've learned is that you can't you really have to go out of your way to get everybody like to really attain everyone's like ideas and perspectives on how the college and how the school can do better.
Mhm.
Sometimes you can bring in some perspectives that are entirely your own, and you really do need to go out of your way to talk to other people, work with other organizations to kind of get at what they want to see differently around the campus, and then to actually act on that. So it's a big learning opportunity to kind of working through other people's perspectives and opinions.
All righty, sounds good. And I know as you were in this position this first year and stuff like that, were there any laws or any initiatives that you got passed on campus? And if so, how have those been well, and how has the committee been
Hmm.
dealing with it?
Yeah. So last semester was mostly kind of just working on specific pieces of legislation. This past semester, I was one of the sponsors of a bill called the Facility Worker Appreciation Day,
Hmm.
which is now a bill that was passed a few weeks ago that will go towards basically one day a year. Radford students will have the opportunity to essentially give thanks to the facility workers around campus who kind of do the general day-to-day maintenance, both
Hmm.
in the dorm rooms, around um, the lawns, and different places on campus. It's just a way of giving back. Um, so that was a really cool thing. We're also working on a midterm legislation that I think we read out. I don't know if I forgot if we voted on it or not. I haven't been able to make the last few meetings.
Hmm.
But that basically what it's going to do is it's going to help students in the long run. It's going to help students have a relationship with faculty, and so that everyone knows kind of where they're at, just no matter what course they're in, so that
Hmm.
they have enough information by the midpoint of the semester if they're able to pass it or not,
Hmm.
which is going to help a lot of students figure out maybe I should back out of this course, take a W. Um, so yeah, it's two of the cool things that we're doing. I'm really excited about, and hopefully they'll keep working on those in years to come.
Awesome. So, of course, we recently just had the student government elections, and we'll probably be having the full attendance. Hopefully, we go back on campus. How are some ways that maybe the next person coming in after you will be making some changes, and how have you been able to help shadow how they'll be doing this?
Yeah. So the person that will actually take over my position, I know she's a good friend of mine, Caitlin, and um, I kind of told her what I knew coming in. It was just like put enough time out there for you to be engaging with students to get their
Hmm.
opinions and perspectives. Um, and I also said just like do your best to come at it with an open mind because a lot of people have differing thoughts on things, not just in the College of Business, but also in the Senate itself. So, and that can go for any of the senators, but that's just something I passed along. I know Caitlin's really excited to be um, working on several different initiatives. Um, one of which I know is going to be, I think I know she's interested in maybe bringing some more like guest speakers in to talk to the business college. But
Hmm.
there's loads of things, and I know she's really excited to represent the students, and I'm really excited to see what she'll be able to do next coming school year.
Awesome. And finally, one last question. Why is it important? I know a lot of people get these emails every semester or so about to join. Why?
Yeah.
What is a beneficiary that you've learned from joining, and what would you tell somebody else?
I'd say the a main benefit is like you do get to know kind of how the school operates, like procedurally, academically. You really get to know what goes through the minds of some of these administrators or faculty members when it
Hmm.
comes to like making policy or implementing it, which has been a real blessing because I'm able to kind of present like a now I have a completely new perspective on how school administration is taking place for better. For I've gotten to know a lot of the great faculty members who do like a lot of the dirty work day to day to make sure that our lives as students carry on as normally as possible. I know that they're working a ton behind the scenes throughout this whole scenario. Um, so yeah, I think that was probably one of the biggest benefits. Is like you truly get to see like a 360-degree viewpoint on how everything works, administratively.
Okay, awesome. So we'll hopefully be seeing some new changes coming up with the new leaders and senators and anything around Radford. And I want to thank you for
Hmm.
making the your effort for with that. So we'll be missing you, but we know we got lots of good hands coming up here.
Hmm.
So our next organization that you're also part with is Baptist Collegiate Ministry Association, and of course we had you on back in the fall. You talked about a little bit about that. So
Hmm.
for recap, how would you talk about what BCM is?
Sure. So the BCM at Radford, it's a essentially a fellowship of believers of Christ. Although our name has Baptist in it, we're not necessarily strictly Baptist. We do have a lot of non-denominational, Methodist, Presbyterian um, background members,
Mhm.
but essentially we're kind of like a social group that gets together once or twice every week. We worship, hold Bible studies, different social events, just to get to know each other and just share the word of God with each other, which has been it's been a really fun blessing to have this past year and a half. Um, I know you've been coming to a few of our
Yeah,
events, and I'm really excited that you were able to do that because it's been definitely a blessing.
absolutely, for sure. And I've gained a lot from coming into that. And of course, like we said, we went on the mission trip earlier during spring break, so
Yep.
a lot of good things with that. So, as your position as the president, what is talk about what your job entitles and what is a normal life of president of BCM?
Yeah. So the team leader position, the president position, first and foremost, you are kind of the spokesperson on behalf of the organization to the rest of the university.
Hmm.
So when you have to advocate for any reason um, to administration, school administration, you're coming at it with the same kind of like aspect that the campus minister, as the rest of the vision of the BCM.
Hmm.
Um, so you're kind of like the spokesperson. Essentially, you're kind of you assist with helping out the different ministries that you offer, and those can vary from year to year.
Hmm.
Basically, you're helping out people figure out what needs to be done, how you can help do that when it comes to, like how much money you can put towards it.
Hmm.
Um, there's just a various amount of things that you do. For me, I was doing a lot of like meeting organization, meeting planning, um, just growing closer to students, making sure that if I had to be a mediator between like small conflicts, I would do that. It's kind of a jack of all trades position, but the biggest thing is you don't want to come at it and have any kind of bias, because that's like the one thing that could potentially tear an organization apart. So I obviously no human's perfect. I've probably done it myself a lot, but to the best of my ability, I've tried to remain impartial, and you can kind of see the fruits of it. We've really grown a nice tight knit community.
Absolutely, for sure,
Yeah.
indeed. So, from being in this position, what are ways that your, of course, only student life, but as well as some of your ways you've gained that closer, they call the spiritual relationship with that?
hmm Um, what I think, kind of like my other positions, it's definitely given me a different perspective when it comes to how much effort it takes to
Mhm.
plan an effective uh, group meeting or any kind of event or program. Like it requires a considerable amount of like you just putting in the time and doing it,
Right.
just like schoolwork. Like if you're not willing to like go to class and like study after class, do the homework assignments, help other people out, you're not going to retain any information, you're not going to get anything out of it. It's the same way. And not just with the BCM, but other organizations. Um, but the more time that I've found spending, volunteering, helping out around the building, helping out doing outreach, programs, I found that I've gotten myself closer to God, because you can't help but build that relationship while you're doing, His work. Um, so yeah, that's it's kind of like time, time being an investment. Like that's if you're willing to put it in, you're gonna reap some good things.
Sure, for sure. And we're coming down to the line of our final questions is right here. So, what are some ways that people can get in contact with the BCM, whether if it's want to join or just help volunteering or
Sure. The probably the easiest way, of course, we have one campus minister, Chris Leeper, who's very responsive when it comes to like Facebook posts. I would say though, get connected by joining our Facebook page at Lifehouse, Lifehouse, what's it called? Lifehouse Baptist Collegiate Ministry at Radford University.
Mhm.
Um, you can do that. Follow us there. We always post like announcements or updates as to what's going on. Um, and essentially just get connected, like reach out, talk to one of our coordinators, and they'll be happy to talk you through how our weeks go. Of course, when like things get back to normal, hopefully this fall, like we're gonna have a lot more events,
Mhm.
worship nights and discipleship nights. Like there's gonna be plenty to do. So it's just kind of a matter of reaching out and kind of getting that information. But we have it on Facebook, and hopefully soon on Instagram and Twitter, perhaps in the next coming semester. We'll see.
Absolutely, for sure. Y'all are a very busy group, as I've witnessed that myself, being a member
Yeah.
of that too. So, one more last final question here, Sam. You're a senior. You have seen a lot at Radford. You have also done some other things off the side. What is something that you're going to probably miss being on campus? And if you were to come back, let's say 10
Mm,
years or so from now, what would you say to the class of 2030 something? I think it would be.
mm. I think I think the thing you get the most out of is a the relationships that you build in like the extracurriculars that you're a part of,
Hmm.
but as well as faculty too. Um, Working with and alongside your faculty members, your favorite teachers, makes a world of difference in your education. I think if I were to give advice to the class of 2030, um, I probably say keep your mind open and like join organizations that interest you, because you're gonna make new friends easily. Um, you'll definitely like grow outside of your own like personal comfort zone, because you'll get to know people, and um, you know just in your day-to-day interactions you'll be working through things that you might never have worked through in
Hmm.
high school. um, so being a part of those extracurriculars just completely enhances your collegiate experience, and not to mention it's a great resume boost as well. So
Absolutely, for sure, indeed. Well, thanks for making some time to talk with us today, and best to you as you are finishing up your final week of classes. And like I said, we'll see you back in December for commencement. Hopefully, we'll get back to a
yeah,
sense of normalcy for that and everything like that, and much more to come. Thanks for talking with us.
sure. Thank you, Dustin.
Thank you.